What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be unboxing a new set of fender flares that I got from my 2022 Ram 2500. And the reason I'm going with fender flares again is because I'm getting my lift kit installed on my truck next week. So I wanted to go ahead and unbox the fender flares today, do a little test fit to make sure they fit, and then I'm going to send them out to my buddy shop to get custom painted to match the truck. And then hopefully next week when we get the lift kit on, I'll be able to install the fender flares because I am also going with much larger wheels and tires. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get it done. Okay, so if we come over here, these are going to be the new fender flares that I just picked up. Now again, I have my lift kit over here waiting to get installed. We'll be getting that installed on the truck next week. And then I have my wheels over here. These are 26-inch wheels on 38 by 15.5-inch wide tires. So these are pretty big tires. And once I put them on the truck, they are going to stick out a good bit. So to help mitigate some of the road debris that's going to be flung up all over the side of my truck and help reduce any harassment I might get by the police for having wider tires, these new fender flares that I just picked up should help do that. So let's go ahead and get these unboxed and take a closer look at them. Okay, so we just pulled out the fender flares from the box, and these are the new Bushwacker DRT max coverage fender flares for the 5th generation Ram 2500 and 3500. Now this kit's going to come with 2 front fender flares and 2 rear fender flares, and then it comes with your hardware bag in the middle that'll have your mounting bolts and your weather stripping. So let's go ahead and take one out of the bag real quick just to take a close look at it. Okay, so I just got the first one out of the bag, and they are labeled on the back for front right, front left, rear right, rear left. And let's flip it over and take a closer look at the exterior. Now, as you can see, there is some really nice contours on these fender flares. So these are not your typical rounded fender flares. They have a really nice rugged venting system on here that just gives these fender flares a nice cool look. So what I wanted to do is come out here, this being that this is the front right, let's go ahead and stick it up to the front right fender and just see what it looks like up against the truck. So let's go ahead and stick it here. And that's what it'll look like, okay? So again, it gives you roughly 3 more inches of wheel coverage, but I do think they're going to look better once I get them painted to the metallic black that the truck comes with. I think these are going to look pretty good. But if we look at the side right now, okay, the wheels are tucked up under there. But once I put my lift kit on and get my larger wheels on, my wheels are going to come out to probably here, probably a good 5 inches out. So if I could put these fender flares on like that, okay, and that covers up 3 inches, then I'm only going to have roughly 2 inches of the tire sticking out, which will be a little less noticeable and help stop a little bit more debris from getting flung up all over the side of my truck. So again, these right here are the Bushwacker DRT extended fender flares for the 5th generation Ram 2500 and Ram 3500 trucks. Now again, I'll have to take off these little end caps right here. Okay, so you just take out these 2 little bolts right here and this bottom cap pops right off. But these new fender flares do look like they're going to fit pretty well, and I think they're going to look pretty good once they're all paint matched, because I like how the indents look on the front and side. I think they're going to look pretty cool. Okay, so we're back from the paint shop, and I got my fender flares all painted and they are all wrapped up and good to go. So now I just need to bring them in the house, start installing the weather stripping so that we can actually get them mounted to the truck. So let's get them inside and see how they turned out. Okay, so we're back in my basement. I have 2 of the fender flares over here unwrapped, and I have the other 2 sitting over here that I still need to unwrap. But basically all you have to do next is just wipe them off with a towel, make sure they're free of any dust or debris, anything like that. And then just go ahead and start putting on your weather stripping, which is very simple. It has a 3M tape on the inside. All you do is peel some of the 3M tape back and stick it to the top up here, where it's going to touch the top of your fender, because the bottom piece is getting bolted up under your fender. So you only need the weather stripping on the very top, from the end to the very end over there. So once you go ahead and start peeling some of the 3M tape off, stick it along that outside edge all the way around, cut it at the end. Do the same thing for your other fender flares. Once you do that, then it's real simple to install these, because on the bottom, as you can see down here, they already have some pre-cut holes. So all you're doing is taking the bolts from the underneath your fender that's holding on your wheel well liner. You're taking those bolts out, setting these into position and bolting them back on. So you're not drilling any holes into your fender or anything like that. The weather stripping is what's up against your actual fender. So let me start putting on the weather stripping real quick and we'll be back here in a minute. Okay, so we got 3 of the fender flares done by installing the weather stripping on the outer edge. So I got 1 more left to do over here. Very simple and easy. So I'm just gonna set the camera up here and just show you how easy it really is. So we're going to start with the 1 fender flare here. So what I'm going to do is take my microfiber cloth, wipe it off real quick, just to make sure there's no excess dust, dirt, oil from your fingers or anything like that on this outer edge, okay? Which is going to be this top edge right here, which only the top edge is really touching your fender because the bottom edge here is what's getting bolted on underneath. So you're only putting the weather stripping on the top edge. To flip it around so that the inner side is facing away from me. Now, with the 3M sticky tape facing down, you want the larger portion facing up, because what's happening is you want to peel the red tape back and that sticky part of the 3M tape is technically sticking underneath this edge, and then this top lip here kind of folds just over the top a little bit. So once you pull some 3M tape back, you're going to stick it there in the edge and just start working your way up. Again, it's not real hard to do this. And then once you get it stuck, I always kind of push on the top, almost like trying to force it to fold over the edge of the paint. Just like that. It sticks on real good. So again, just keep lining it up. Again, not very hard to do. And anywhere you have like a little hump or a little contour angle of your fender flare, you want to make sure you're kind of bending the weather stripping around that angle. So you're not just going straight over top of it. You want to bend the weather stripping. So if there's a little hump on the fender flare, there should be a hump on your weather stripping as well. So we're pretty much getting down to the edge over here. Let me turn so you can still kind of see it. Okay, down into this corner. Cut your excess off. And there you go. And once you finish, go back through with your fingers, pinching it on there. Make sure the top little lip folds over the actual paint just a little bit, and then just keep going back through with your fingers to make sure it's pressed on real good and that the 3M tape is sticking. And once you do that, you should be good. So now we got all 4 of the fender flares painted. We got all the weather stripping on. Now we just have to go outside, start unbolting the bolts from the bottom of our fenders that attach to our wheel well liner, line up our fender flares, put the bolts back in, and we should be good. But I just wanted to install the weather stripping in my basement because it's January 2025 in Western PA and it's snowing outside. It's about 10 degrees outside, so I didn't want to work on the weather stripping up in my garage where it's really cold, because I wanted to come in my basement where it's warm so that the weather stripping had a better chance of adhering to the fender flares before I actually take them outside and stick them on the truck. So let's head up to the truck and let's get these installed. Okay, so we're outside, and the first thing you want to do is, again, take some type of waterless wash spray, ceramic wax spray, whatever you have, some type of detailer. Clean off this area here where your fender flare is going to be mounted, because you don't want to trap dirt behind there right out of the gate. So clean off your fender flare, wash your truck, whatever you got to do first. Being that it's snowing and muddy and disgusting out here and it's about 10 degrees, I'm not even going to try to wash my truck. So I would just recommend spraying some waterless wash, detailer, ceramic spray, whatever. Clean that area off first. Then you're going to have these brackets sitting down here. You're going to need to take a couple of those bolts out to take those brackets off there, and there'll be a little bracket right here. take those off, and then you're going to remove the remaining bolts around the inside lip of your fender. And then up here in the middle, this right here is going to be an open hole. You're then going to take this little sticky tab right here, this black sticky tab, and you're going to fold it over the back, over that hole. And then you're going to take this applied clip from the back, clip it on there, and because you're going to be using a bolt to go through there. So again, you're going to have 3 bolts up the side, 1 bolt in the middle, and 3 bolts down that side. Once you do that, you should be good to go for the back. The front, super simple and easy as well. You're going to take off the bolts along the inner channel here. There is no clips you're going to use. There's just going to be 2 bolts up here towards the front and then 3 bolts going down here on the side. Once you get them installed, they're going to look like this over here. That's what they're going to look like there. So again, you're just bolting them in on the bottom along the inner edge, and they're going to bolt on and look just like that. The front, same thing. That's what they're going to look like once they're bolted on. So again, you're going to have the 2 bolts towards the front, and you're typically going to have 3 bolts down the side, maybe even a 4th at the bottom. Now, because I'm running an 8-inch lift kit on larger 38 by 15.5-inch mud tires, to get some clearance, I always trim the little bottom piece off right here from my fender flare, because when I get my tire to really turn in there, sometimes under compression, it might grab the fender flare a little bit. So I always cut this little triangle off at the bottom, again, just for wheel clearance. But if you don't have big wheels, you don't have to cut anything off. But that's basically what they look like. Now, from a side profile, you can see I only have a little bit more tire sticking out past the fender flare there, which is going to help with road debris that's being flung up the side of your vehicle, and it won't make your wide tires look as bad when it comes to the laws in the state that you are driving in. But overall, that's what they look like. They look real good. I like these little indentures here. Gives it a nice, clean, custom look. Looks real good. Really happy with how they turned out. So let me go ahead and finish getting these last 2 fender flares installed, and we'll be right back. Okay, so like I said, wash off your fender flare. Again, I'm just using some basic Fortify, Shining Armor, Waterless Wash, Shine, Protect. Whatever you have laying around the garage, go ahead and use that. Wash off that area pretty thoroughly and the under lip there. Once you do that, you're going to come under, put that little tab where I said, put your metal clip over it, and then you're just going to bolt everything back in on the bottom of the fender flare. So let me work on that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're all done. We got the fender flares all installed. This is what the driver's side looks like there. Again, it has a nice good bit of coverage, roughly 3 inches over the tires. They look real good. I really like the contours. Looks a little bit different than your typical smooth fender flares that you might see. Again, looks real sharp. There you go. That's what the front looks like. So again, real nice looking fender flares. Super happy with them. Very easy to install. I did send them out to get paint matched to my truck, but they turned out great and they look awesome. And again, I always just trim a little section of the bottom over here off so that I have maximum wheel coverage, because the last thing you want to do is go under a deep turn under some compression and have your big knobby tires grab an edge of your fender flare and then just snap the heck out of it, and you don't want to do that. So if you are running larger tires like this and you find that your tire lugs are getting real close to that edge, I would trim a little section off just so that you don't damage it later. But overall, they look awesome, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So there you go, everybody. So we got the new Bushwacker fender flares installed on my 2022 Ram 2500. Everything turned out awesome. They were super easy to install, and I'm really happy with them overall. So if you're thinking about getting some fender flares for your 5th gen Ram 2500, I definitely recommend checking out the Bushwacker fender flares, and I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in a set for yourself. But that's going to be for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.